Hello, I'm Emmeline.
And I'm Kindy.
And welcome to Stuff with Moms, a podcast about shows, stories, and enjoying life. So
Emmeline, how has it been?
Oh my goodness, it's been a while.
A long time, yeah.
Things have been going really good. We had, lovely holidays. We had fun times with family. We've been enjoying the fabulous weather here. Like, so nice. Oh, it's so nice, Kindy. I can just go outside and enjoy the day. Like,
why? What's the weather been like?
In the mid 60s. Just glorious weather. Oh man.
Everybody's in coats and you're like, this is t-shirt weather.
Yep. T-shirt and shorts.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been awesome. So something that we did this last weekend, we went and hung out with Joy and Doug, Kyle's sister, and brother-in-law, and my in-laws. So it's just okay. I'm just gonna. We went and hung out with Joy and Doug. Family.
Awesome.
Okay. And
your in-laws, because you're the one talking.
Yes.
Yes.
And, thanks. And we played games all weekend and had fun with the kids. It was just really nice. Ate some delicious food and talked. And it's just so nice that we're close to them and we can hang out with them, once a month and just have that time. So the boys love it. We love it. And they host us and we host them, and it's back and forth and really great.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's the most recent. The boys had a long weekend, not this past weekend, but the one before that. And they were like, this is the best. We relaxed at home and they got to do all the things that that you get to do when you have a long weekend, like not change out of your pajamas and eat crappy food and
That's every weekend for us.
So we all had a good time. I did a couple of things that because we're going all the time that I can't do. So our engine filter in our van is one of those K&N ones. So it's a one that you can retreat over and over. You don't have to put in a new air filter. You pull it out and you kind of like clean it off and oil it back up and stick it back in. But it needs like time to like dry out in between the cleaning and the oiling. And so I'm like, we're constantly driving our van that there's not long enough period for me to ever do it. So I was finally like, yes, we aren't driving anywhere for the next 2 days, so I'm going to do
Pull
it.
out the filter.
So it was great.
How gross was it since it's been so long?
It had some buildup in it, but it still was, you use this red oil so that when it's really needs it. And it was still like tinged reddish. So it probably could have gone a while longer. It's just, I don't know when my next break would have been from driving the van. So
yeah, might as well do it while you can.
Yeah. And our truck isn't working. So I've been working on that, fixing that.
Still?
Well, it's a problem that I don't have the tools to fix. So we're going to have to take it to the mechanic. We just need to tow it to the mechanic because
you
it can't move.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think that would be the worst part.
Yeah. Kyle's like, should we do the redneck version of a tow? Instead of calling a tow truck that we put it behind the van and take it. Like, yeah, we probably will.
Right? I mean, why not? Lean into it. You're in the South.
I was watching this guy's ranking system, and it's the 5th most southern state, southern in quotes.
Oh,
So
yeah. All
Alabama
right. Well,
ranked
there you go.
number 1. So
Okay. So that's hilarious.
I know.
What were his like
I think it had to
what
do
were
with
his
like the
categories?
sports that were important and how southern the people acted, and that's
Mm,
and like the what food they ate and you know the
yeah,
location of the actual state. So
that's awesome.
yeah, he had some funny qualifications, and I was like, okay. So according to one YouTuber,
Yeah.
South
It's
Carolina is
5.
the 5th most southern state.
So there you go. Just lean into it and get it there the most
Redneck
southern
way
way
possible.
possible. Yep. Yep.
Okay, well, how have you been? How's things with you?
Well, January was crazy. I towards the end, I was losing it. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Long days with work. And my children decided that the first or second week of January was the most appropriate time to get sick. So I had both of them home like the first half of the week. And then I think I sent Anders to school on a Friday, which why and what's the point? But I had to get him out of the house because it was super crazy. But anyway, so that was chaotic.
Uh-huh.
And we've been meeting with the deaf mentor with Emmeline, and that has been going great. She is more vocal with it, surprisingly. Like
That's
the more
awesome.
signs we use and the more I use with her when I talk to her, the more vocal she is. And she's walking a lot better. She can walk on
Yay.
her own for like 7 steps or more. She could do more, but she's just not that confident yet. But it's amazing.
That is
It's
great.
so cute too.
Just
Because she'll
watching
have
her
her arms
blossom.
up by her head, her
Oh,
hands, while she's walking. You know that like 2-year-old, I'm just learning how to walk. Don't touch me. I'm trying to balance.
that's cute.
A drunkard type walking. It's
Yeah.
adorable. It's adorable. She can hold a bottle while she walks over to you, so that's cute. And she has a lot of fun with it because she'll start like dancing as she's walking, and it totally throws her off. So she'll kind of bend down just to regain balance, and then start over again and start the dancing because she's so excited.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's so fun. So that's been fun to watch, and I think that and sign language are like the only 2 things I've really been good at. The other stuff, we're working on her fine motor skills, and I keep forgetting to do those things. So like she's got to learn how to use a spoon, and so I got little pom-poms of various sizes to get her to like use a spoon to scoop it from one thing to another. And so but when she does after playing at that, then she is wanting to do it with her food, and so I need to do it where it's ice cream. It's something she can't grab, because if it takes too long, she loses patience and she just starts grabbing it and putting it in her mouth, which I get. But
Clark still does that.
So
does Lorenzo. If they're like, this is taking too long, they just use their hands to eat. And I'm like, you guys got to do better at that.
Oh, that's hilarious. What else has been happening? I don't know. Anders is counting down his life all the time. Makes me sad. I keep telling him it'll probably get so old, but I'm like, stop counting down everything. Mostly because it's annoying to me. But the other reason is because he's gonna miss out on his youth. I'm like, just enjoy this time, because when you become an adult, it's not fun. It can be, but it's harder and stressful, and all these other things. So I keep telling him, I'm like, just enjoy the days that it takes to get to these different things. So he'll ask me like, they were celebrating 100 days of being in school like a couple weeks ago, and so he kept counting down, and I wasn't counting. He was counting. He goes, Mom, how many days? And I tell him. He goes, how do you know? I'm like, because you keep telling me how many days it is until 100 days. He's hilarious.
That's great.
And yeah, he's so fun. He was looking at the calendar today of like different months and the things on it, and he had things to say. He's like, oh, he was like trying to sound out people's names. I go, that Tyrus, that's your or no, the first one he came across was Riley. I go, that is your uncle's daughter who you've hardly met, but they live in Louisiana, and he's like, oh, that's nice. And then he moves on to the next name and just like little things like that. It was so cute. So kids are adorable. Husband is awesome. And he started going back to the gym and overdid it. And so he's been sore like all week. And oh my gosh, it drives me crazy when he's out on commission because I rely on him so much that when I can't, I'm like, oh, I'm so stressed out, but I can't show it because I don't want him to stress out and yell at the children. Because he was like so tired. He couldn't get sleep. He was sore. He was so sore. I think he got a little sick too. So his whole body was sore and he overworked his body. So he was just miserable. He couldn't sleep. So he was cranky. And anyway, this is quite the... Oh, and we went swimming. That was fun. And yeah, just been so excited that the busy season-ish is over. I mean, I still feel the pressure of getting all the books done for the tax guys, but I can only do so much, so it's not as stressful, and I am not allowed overtime. So that helps of being like, well, I worked my hours, so I can't help you. Yeah. So that is nice. That alleviates a lot of stress. So
good.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd be painfully working too many hours because I have a hard time saying no to my boss.
Yeah.
No, I'm learning. So yeah. Anyway, that's how life has been.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had several holidays since, and
yeah,
since we talked last, so it's just been exciting. At the end of 2023, we got a report on our podcast, and I thought it would be fun to share some of the stuff from it.
And I haven't read any of it, so this will be news to me as well.
So we had 32 episodes, 2 of them being like the little intro. This is what our podcast is going to be about.
Oh, and then one where it's like, we couldn't get one today.
Yep.
Look for it next week.
Yep.
So technically 30.
Yeah. So 30 actual episodes, but we did 32 episodes. We had a most popular listener city, which was Sioux City.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that's where the antenna is. So Sioux City. So thank you to our listeners from that area. You know who you are. I know who you are.
Oh, that's good. Because I'm like, gotta be your side.
So they're our hot spot, our number one city. We appreciate you guys.
Woohoo. Yeah, we do.
They had 201 downloads. Some other honorable mentions were Salt Lake City, Utah.
Nice.
We're at 67, Orem, Utah at 59, and Geneva, Illinois at 49. So those were our top 4 listening cities. And then we were listened to in 6 countries.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
we're international.
We are. We got Kuwait on there.
Yes.
We got Canada. We got some listeners in Canada. We got 2 in India and a listener in the United Kingdom. So, woot woot. Our
That's awesome.
most popular episodes, our first and second episodes, and then our 13th episode, Venom with Moms. I think it was the title that maybe pulled people in. They're like, ooh, these
Probably.
moms are going to be mean or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Right?
Because I re-listened
Maybe
to
we
it.
should
I was
just
like,
do a lot of-
what's the draw there? But I'm like, maybe it was the
Yeah.
title. Or maybe people really liked listening to all the things we thought were gross.
Maybe. Oh, yeah, we did talk about that, huh? All the super weird things.
Yeah. And we did hit the 1,000 downloads. We're past that now, way past that. But we hit 1,000
Sweet.
downloads at the end of last year. So we thank you, listeners, for
Yes.
supporting us.
Yes. We could not have accomplished those numbers without you. So thank you.
Yeah.
It's fun to hear that.
All right, Kendi, do you want to do our word of the month?
Yep. So the word is enervate. It's from the Latin. I'm just kidding.
Enervate. I want to say it's synonym with energize. So let's say it's
It's a verb, if that helps. It wouldn't help me,
Putting-
but it'll probably help
putting-
you.
energy into a solution. Enervate.
That's pretty good. Uh-oh, did I lose it? I think I lost it. Hang on. Okay, here we go. Enervate, I'm just going to read the whole thing, is a formal word used for situations in which someone or something is being sapped of physical or mental vigor, vitality, or strength. As in, children enervated by the summer afternoon heat, and a tedious discussion we found completely enervating.
Okay.
So, like the opposite of energizing. So there you
So
go.
it's a sapping of energy. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. I did want to give a little announcement to our listeners because in March, Google Podcasts is ceasing to exist. They are putting all their energy into other things. And so I did open up a new forum that our podcasts are presented on. If you are one of our Google Podcast listeners, you can now get our podcast on YouTube Music. So just a FYI. For fun, I thought it would give a mom hack that I've learned that I thought was handy because Clark loves bacon. So we eat bacon a lot. And I don't know, when you open bacon and you have to like peel the bacons apart, it's kind of tricky. Sometimes they get stuck together and sometimes it's obnoxious and they kind of like rip or whatever. So after you cut open the little, sealed plastic, before you take the bacon out, if you roll the package with the bacon inside, it loosens up the bacon strips so that they no longer cling to each other. So you can easily, after you roll them, so kind of roll it like you would a sleeping bag.
Tortilla. Oh, okay.
Um,
Does it matter which direction you go?
Nope, it doesn't matter the direction. Either way.
Just roll it.
Just roll it like a sleeping bag and then unroll it and pull your bacon out and they'll just pull apart really easy.
That is awesome. How did you learn that?
I don't remember. I think I may have seen like a cooking show that they did that on. And I was like, I'm going to try that. And I did. And it's been working great. So there you go. Thank you to the cooking show that showed me that.
British Bake Off. No, I'm just kidding.
With all the cakes that need bacon. No, that wasn't it.
So we're going to change things up because if you haven't noticed, that's what we like to do. We don't like to be consistent. We
No, if you want consistency, you go listen to another podcast. But no, stay here because we love you.
Yeah. Yeah. So Emmeline, you want to talk about what it is that we're changing, why and how?
For the time being, we're going to be listening. We're going to be watching one of my favorite shows of all time, Smallville.
Yeah.
And kind of reviewing that a little bit. It isn't going to be all about Smallville, but Kindy and I will a little bit go over the actual episodes. But what we want to do is pull themes from the actual show to discuss on our podcast because it's full of good things and so Smallville's kind of going to guide our discussions on the podcast. And that's what you'll be listening to with us. So, did that cover it good?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was great.
Okay. So, that's what we're going to be doing for the time being. You know, maybe we'll throw in a movie here and there, or if you as listeners want to hear something specific, you can write us, email us, or whatever, or on our Facebook, contact us that way and let us know. But for the time being, this is what Kindy and I felt like doing. So
yep.
Join us.
We hope you like it because it's fun.
It is. So I've been trying to get Kindy to watch this show probably forever because it is my favorite show. Let's get a background. So as a kid, there's been a few shows that we would watch all together as a family. Okay. One of them was, America's Funniest Home Videos. But another one
classic
was The Adventures of Lois and Clark, which was a Superman show. And that was kind of where my love for Superman began. And as a family, we'd watch the show and we'd laugh and we'd have a good time. And it was just kind of like this fun thing for me. And I really came to enjoy this specific superhero because of that family time. And so we watched, we watched the Christopher Reeve movies, the Superman movies, and, we did those things, but it was this show that kind of got me started. And so, at the end of my high school career, when this new show, Smallville, came on, I was like, kind of like this is where Superman grew up. I'm kind of interested. I'll watch that. And so Tim and I would watch it together, my youngest brother. And man, it was so good. And I enjoyed it. But then life got crazy and I, got busy with doing all sorts of stuff. So I didn't watch it after, I think, probably season 3. And then, and I got married and, did college and did a mission and did all these things, right? And then I took Lorenzo to the library one time and he wanted to get a Bob the Builder show. So he's looking for these shows to bring home. And I was like, oh, look, maybe I'll see something I like. And I saw that there was a season 4 of Smallville. I was like, I'll try out, this, see where that show went that I enjoyed. And so I took it home and watched it. And I was like, that was so fun. And so then I looked it up. I was like, how many seasons are there? And I found out that there was a total of 10 seasons. And I was like, okay, I got to watch.
Did
I
you
gotta
start
watch.
over?
I did. I started over. I ended up buying them,
Ah.
and because they weren't all available at the library, so I was like, okay,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I'm buying them. So, so I bought them like incrementally over, a few years, and I watched it through, and then I ended up watching it through again, and I pretty consistently watched it through since Lorenzo was 4, maybe every other year. Um,
Dang.
it's just something. It's so. I mean, there's a lot of cheese in this show. It's cheesy. It's
Yes.
and it's like it's totally like this. Uh, you know, WB, CW
Yeah.
drama, teenage drama show, right? But there
Yep.
is so many like awesome things that I just love about this show. So I watch it again and again. So there's a little background for you. And so ever since then, since Lorenzo was little, I've kind of like been like, Kendi, how about you watch the show so we can talk about it? And she's like, oh, she attempted it, I think 1 or 2 times, but like couldn't get past certain things. And finally she was like, okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll do it for you. And I was like, no, let's do it for the podcast. And so
Yeah.
she's a trooper and it's held off so that we can talk about it.
Yeah. I've probably seen the first 7 episodes, maybe 10 or 12. I don't know. I'll let you know when it starts to become new. Like probably 3 or 4 times, just like when it aired or when it was on repeat. And so, because I'm like, I've seen these before. These feel familiar, but not enough that like they've impacted my life to where I'm like, these are awesome. I'm gonna watch them all the time. But yeah.
But now she can because she has them all.
Yep.
So
now I can watch them. And my curiosity has had to be put on hold since we were gonna do this. So
yep. So what's your background of Superman? Just curious.
So I I think just the movies. Like there wasn't any TV shows, there wasn't any comics. For me, it was just the movies. We moved into this house where they had, so I'm a VHS type baby kid, grown up person. So I grew up with VHSs moving forward. So nothing back behind that. And so the owner left behind, they had like custom built this like movie library kind of thing. It was like a corner where the shelves inside were, so you open it up like a corner cabinet, but it's in deep with like all these shelves, and it's like all consistently black cassette, like black VHS covers, hard covers, and then it's just in writing on like the spine or on the front of what it is.
Okay.
And so there are no pictures, it's just the titles. So it's like, all right, let's try this one, we'll see if it's good. That's how I watched Over River Kwai or whatever, I can't remember the name of that one, but
Bridge over the River Kwai.
Yeah, Over the River Kwai. And we didn't have TV, so that was pretty much our entertainment of like trying these different movies. And a lot of the Superman movies were a part of it, the first ones. And so I loved it. Lois Lane, I loved I still remember the one where Lois gets killed, and so Superman flies around the earth to make it go backwards to reverse everything, so that he can save Lois. So, oh man, I bet if we watched it now, it'd be like, oh, this is so bad. It's awesomely funny.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so no like inner depth of love for it. Just I like to be entertained with movies. I like movies, so I would watch whatever they'd put out. And so yeah, that's Me and Superman don't have an intense, long story or entertaining story at all. It's just
I don't know. I thought that was entertaining. Let's randomly watch these shows and see what we get. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of fun because they had a good movie selection. But those are the only ones I remember was Bridge Over Kwai
The River
and
Kwai.
Yes, thank you. I saw it once, people. So, um, and then Superman. I think we watched those ones a lot more because they were way more entertaining than the Vietnam. Is that the anyway?
I don't remember.
War movie. We're just gonna call it that. So yeah. So yeah.
Okay, well.
But I like Superman. I love his wholesomeness and that he's always trying to do what's right.
Yeah, me too. He's a good guy. Okay. So hey, we are gonna talk about. So we're gonna watch them by discs instead of by individual episodes. So you're gonna kind of get a overall of what's on of several episodes. So for this podcast, we did the first 4 episodes of season 1. And the cool thing about the first episode is you kind of get the birth of the Superman story. You know, the meteor shower, where he got brought home by the Kents and raised on a farm. And then you see the kind of growth of him coming into different superpowers on the show as a whole. Like that's kind of just comes along through sprinkled in episodes here and there is him getting a different power.
So he has strength in
he
the
has
first
strength
one,
and speed in the very first episode. He's already achieved those through his life. And then he realizes in episode 1 that he also has indestructibility. He is indestructible. He proves this by Jonathan's working with the wood chipper, and he goes over and shoves his arm in it and pulls it out and sees, this isn't normal. And Jonathan didn't know that was going to happen because he goes and tries to stop Clark from doing this crazy thing. And then they're like, whoa. Like, so that you could tell that this was a new power. And he discovered it by getting hit by a car, which happened to belong to Lex Luthor. And so you see that right away in the very first episode, you get the villain, you get the hero.
Yep. Except in this one, the villain doesn't start out as a villain, which I like because it's like, here is the story behind how their relationship turns into what it is. Like, I actually love the fact that Lex Luthor is actually a nice guy. I mean, he's a rich guy, but he's nice to Clark because he saved his life. But I mean, he's trying to help Clark. And so it's like, what happened?
Yep. And I love that it's kind of like, I know that this ends up being the bad guy. And I know that they considered themselves friends. If you've watched anything or read anything that has to do with Superman, is that before they were enemies, they were friends. And so you kind of know that, but it's just this a fun thing.
That.
Yeah. It's kind of a fun thing. And I'm just going to throw this out there now that these two play my favorite versions of these characters throughout all of Superman lore. He's my favorite Clark Kent. Tom Welling is. And Michael Rosenbaum is my favorite Lex Luthor. So. Okay, so now that you kind of get what the episodes were about, we did want to touch on a couple of things. So in one of the episodes, there is a boy that gets attacked by kryptonite bugs.
Yes.
They don't call them kryptonite yet. They're meteor rock bugs.
Oh, yeah. Because, we got to establish the story. This is about how everything comes to be.
Yes. And because he gets attacked by these bugs, he develops kind of like bug powers. And I thought it would be fun to talk to Kindy about what her favorite and least favorite bugs are.
Who has a favorite bug? Let me guess. You do.
I do.
Yeah.
You don't have a favorite bug?
No.
Oh.
There was something. I was at a group gathering, and somebody had like it was their favorite number. I was like, I remember the pressure of having to have a favorite color. Now I have to have a favorite number. I was like, I'm not gonna worry about this. This is not my cup of tea. So they're like, what's your favorite number? I was like, nothing. Nothing.
0.
Why do I have to have a favorite number? But like multiple people had a favorite number. I had no idea this was a thing. Anyway, so I
do have a favorite bug. I'll tell you what
you go
it is.
first. Okay.
It's a roly-poly.
I was thinking of that. I was like, those would be a favorite bug if I had to have one.
When I was a kid, if I saw a roly-poly, I'd pick it up so he'd turn into a little ball in my hand, and I'd kind of like roll it around in my hand, and then I'd find a little good spot to put him down on where there was grass so he could nibble it.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, and I do have a funny story to do with bugs.
Yeah.
So there's this one time
I already love it.
that I was bored, right? And I decided that I was going to make a theme park for flies.
That's
so
awesome.
I had
How old were you at
a
this
tiny
point?
top. I was
2 days ago?
No, I was about 8.
Okay.
I had a tiny top that was like hot pink, right?
Yeah, okay.
That I decided was going to be their little merry-go-round. I built like this slide out of paper and I put tape on the top of it so it was kind of slippery,
Oh, okay.
Scotch tape. And then I filled up a little tiny disc full of water so they had a swimming pool. And then I had some like snacks. I put a couple of like little chips and stuff. And I had all sorts of things. And it was just like on a shoebox lid. And then I was like, how do I get the bugs how do I get the flies to come? And so what I did, I went and found flies. And do you know where the easiest place to find flies is?
By poop?
Yes.
Did you go find dog poop?
So my dog at the time was Babe, and she had some poop in the yard. So I went and picked up flies off the dog poop. And I brought them in the house, holding them, right? I'm holding them.
Oh, yeah.
And to get them to stay, I had to like hold them the whole time. Otherwise, they'd fly away, right? But I found that this is in the house.
Love this. Yeah.
I found that if I put them in the pool for a while, they wouldn't fly away.
So nice of you.
Oh, I tortured these poor flies. Then I'd put them on the top and spin them around. It kind of dried them off a little. Oh man, Kitty.
Did you send any of them down the slide before they got too dry?
Yeah.
That would have been
awesome. There was like a paper clip that I like had built into like a swing set. Anyway, there were all sorts of things. There was just things that I built, and I was very proud of my little fly theme park. Oh, weird stuff you do as kids. Anyway,
Right.
so what's your least favorite bug, Kendi?
Centipedes. Ugh. Centipedes. They are so disgusting. They creep me out. They're too many legs. They're Anyway, how about we talk about yours? Because I keep picturing them. There was a video me and Anders was watching, and it was like, what was it? It was just about, how owners film their pets. So it was just funny things that pets do, like cats, birds, dogs, what have you. Hamsters, and sprinkled in were like really weird bugs. Like one guy found this really weird bug in bananas. He picked it up in his hands. It was at the grocery store, and he purchased the bug with the banana. Anyway, and they had centipede ones sprinkled in there, like tons of tiny centipedes that would just fall out of this. Anyway, okay, yours. You go. I'm getting grossed out just talking about it.
Okay, I can't handle spiders.
Okay.
They just move
like
creepy.
You see one, you freak out, jump on something, and someone has to come kill it for you. Oh, okay.
I kill it.
Inside, outside, doesn't matter. You kill it.
No, outside I leave them alone. I just go my own way because I don't feel like I have the right to kill something if it's just trying to live, right?
Habitat. Yeah.
But if it's in my home, they are dead. They are dead to me. So they're going down. There was one time when I went to the bathroom at our little house in when we lived in Lehigh. Mm-hmm. And there was a black widow on the shower curtain while I was sitting there going to the bathroom. I finish, I go out, and I'm like, yeah, what do we do? So Tim and I grab the vacuum and we go back in there, and he had me with the hose trying to get this spider, and I kept missing. And when you're vacuuming something that isn't like solid, the vacuum will suck it.
Comes at you.
Anyway, and so this curtain kept getting sucked in at the wrong spot, not where the evil spider is. And I was freaking out, and finally Tim pulls the hose from my hand because I'm like,
And, coordination is not strong with you when you're freaked out.
No, not at all. And the curtain wasn't cooperating. So he was able to get it, but holy crap.
Oh, I bet.
I'm so surprised that it didn't run toward me and kill me. Yeah. And then we left the vacuum on for a while so it would spin and kill it.
Smart. Very smart. Because if you shut it off too soon, it'll just crawl out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And get vengeance.
Yeah. Because that's what they live for. They're probably like, that was weird.
Yeah.
Where's some food?
But you don't have a favorite bug like bumblebees or butterflies or nothing?
I mean, I like those things. They're great. They're beautiful.
But
they're
not a
necessary.
Favorite.
No. Okay. Bugs are bugs.
Fireflies?
I do love fireflies.
Yes! I knew I'd get one.
Okay, I do have a favorite bug.
Yay! You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah. Cindy has a favorite bug. Which is unfortunate because they're not common here in Utah.
Uh-huh.
Which is a bugger. Although I've heard
a bugger.
Who says moms don't have mom jokes?
Do you know what? I decided? That moms think other moms' jokes are funny, but nobody other than moms thinks mom jokes are funny.
True.
Because I make mom jokes and I'm laughing, and all of my guys look at me like, "Why are you laughing? That wasn't funny."
You're like, "Yes, I was.
It was
I'm
so good
right now." I'd probably be laughing with you if I was there.
Oh, you totally would.
Yeah. Maybe you should save them and tell them to me.
Yeah. I'll share them on the podcast.
Yeah,
Then
there you go.
you and our audience can enjoy them.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing that I noticed with these episodes, I think it was the last one where I was like, what is the deal? There are people that are obsessed with Lana. I don't get it. Lana is my least favorite character for now. Who knows what's going to happen in future episodes, but she drives me crazy. I it's probably the actress cuz the way she talks is very breathy. It's very I'm so fragile. If you touch me, I will crumble type of talking. The only way I can explain it. So she drives me crazy, but everybody is obsessed with her. There's Clark, who, of course, he's got to have somebody, I guess, to be obsessed with. And the bug guy wanted her. And then the chick who could shapeshift wanted her. And after that, I was like, what is the deal? Why is everybody so obsessed with her? And so I thought.
And then she's got her boyfriend. So just a background. Lana Lang is Clark's first crush. So.
Yeah. Thank goodness there's others. And I was really hoping she wouldn't stay very long. But apparently, on the DVD cover, she's in season 9. So, or 8. I can't remember. Anyway, she sticks around way too long. I'm hoping, Emmeline probably won't tell me, that she pops out and then comes back. But I doubt that's going to happen. I think that's probably why I couldn't get past more episodes, is because of her. I really think it's because of her. Because there's great lines. It's hilarious. The songs are great. There's wonderful characters. The morals that are on it are wonderful. Like they exist. And it's great. It is good. But Lana just kills it for me. Anyway, so speaking of obsession, I'm obsessed with not liking Lana. But I thought we could talk about something, and then maybe this is something you as the audience can kind of think about. What is something that you have an obsession about or have had an obsession about? What is it, and how did you get over it? Or how do you plan on getting over it? And I am obsessed with too many things that, something that just came to mind is I'm obsessed with Vampire Diaries, and I don't have access to watching it, so I can't stay up late at night watching it, which is probably a good thing. But I do get obsessed with movie or books or movies, and I just will sit there. Oh, actually, as I'm talking and rambling on and on and on and on, I do have an obsession, and I need help. I've got to kill this obsession. So YouTube has decided to be TikTok, and there's like these little short clips of videos of people, and you can just scroll through and watch all these short clips of whatever. And yesterday I spent 2 hours doing that.
Whoa.
2 hours. That I think is the longest. Actually, no, I take it back. I think before that, when I can't remember if it was TikTok or if it was actually YouTube. TikTok is not on my phone anymore because I can't handle it. I'm not disciplined enough to not sit there and scroll through all these various videos. So I had to take it off my phone. But now that YouTube has those, I think I spent 4 hours was the longest time just scrolling through these videos and liking some. And I actually, for the first time yesterday, I found one that I did not like, and I hit dislike on it. Anyway, wow. Not that matters. No, that was like one out of millions.
They built that for that purpose. So you aren't the only one that falls prey to that. Like that's their purpose for those videos.
And I know this, but I am still suckered into it. I'm like, just stop it.
Lots of people are.
I thought about doing like a timer. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good. And as soon as the timer goes off, you just turn it off no matter what.
Yeah, except I did that with, was it Facebook or was it TikTok? I can't remember. I think it was Facebook, and because it gives you the option to ignore the timer or extend your time. It's like, what is the point of this timer? This is not helping. This is allowing me to have the other option of continuing this down spiral of time wasting.
Yep. There's
Time
all
wasting.
sorts of things. Yeah. And afterwards, you're like, oh, I just spent 2 hours doing almost nothing. Like,
Yeah, pretty much nothing. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think my idea is to just not click on the videos. Like, if I'm getting into YouTube, go to what I'm going to, or click on like a video and not the shorts, because that is what kills my time. So I'm going to try that. What about
Okay.
you? What is something that you have an obsession over or have had, and how did you accomplish getting over it?
I have a problem with binge watching when I think I don't need to like get up to do anything super important, right? Where I'm like,
Yep.
okay, it is Friday night, the boys are in bed, I'm gonna just watch a whole bunch of shows, or I'm gonna just watch a whole bunch of movies. And I do the same thing with books, where I'm just gonna read this book and I'll fall asleep, in quotes. No, I won't. I'm going to complete this book tonight, and it's 5 a.m. when I realize, I didn't sleep. Maybe I can get an hour in before I need to, like, wake up and accomplish my tasks for the day.
Yeah.
I will just, and when it comes to binging something, I can get sucked in hard. So,
Yeah.
luckily, I've come to a point in my life where I limit those times, where I'm like, okay, Friday night, that's fine, because I can, take a nap on Saturday or whatever, and I can catch up the sleep that I need to. But it's kind of nice to just, I don't have anybody needing my time or my thoughts on something, and I can just let it swallow me up. And so it's bad, and I know it's bad, but I've gotten to the point where I can limit it so that it's only here and there. It isn't.
You've
all
gotten
the time.
better.
Yes.
Than it being totally taking over.
Than I have been in the past. Good. Yes.
Yeah.
But I still do
it. That's a huge accomplishment. Yeah. Well, I think I almost wonder if that's women, because I feel like we always have to be on. We're always needed, especially if you are a wife and a mother. I'm not saying that those that do not have are not those things also don't have to be on at the time, because you do. Like, it's just, life is so demanding. And so it's like you've got because I hear this in you, me, my sisters, like there's just a time where you just have to escape and totally immerse yourself in something else, because you don't have to think about what it is you have to do the next day, or nobody's asking you to come and look at this or talk to you about how you need to jump into a hole and then jump out so the bad guys can't get you, or having to help someone walk. Like, life is stressful. And so I almost feel like you kind of need those moments, because if you don't, you'll, like, there's other ways to recharge, but I don't know. It's almost like try and make it to where you can do it, but it's not at a detriment to where you feel bad about it after.
Right. Like a good life balance for it.
Yeah. I don't know what that looks like, because it's going to be different for everybody,
yes.
but maybe that's what we need to figure out.
Yes.
Just like everybody's obsession with Lana was different.
Yes.
And the bug guy wanted to meet with her. Yeah. The morphing chick wanted to be her.
Yep.
Clark just wants to be with her.
Wants to date her, and Whitney is dating her, and
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Although I don't feel like Whitney is obsessed with her because he's not a focus until later. Like these
Right.
episodes, he's just part of the background. But I do know because I've seen the future episodes where it's like, okay, he's more involved. You get to know him
Well,
more as a character. But he's also got things going on to where he's not like obsessed with her. He's
but
just
in
the
the
one that
very
gets to.
first episode that you see that, you know, he notices that Clark's kind of tuned into his girlfriend. And that's where
Yeah.
he puts him out as the scarecrow. He's like, "You're looking at my girl." And I don't like that, you know.
I feel threatened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so he's kind of overly protective, but not to the point of obsession, I guess, right away. But
Yeah. Yeah. That is true.
good
That
thought,
is true.
Kendi. Okay,
Yeah,
the last thing we
I try.
wanted to talk about was infertility because Martha Kent has always wanted kids. And they kind of hint at it a little bit in the first couple episodes that, you know, she's in there in a flower shop and little Lana's there dressed up as like a fairy godmother or something. And she's like, "Do you want to wish?" And Martha Kent goes over and she's like, "I'd love to wish something." And then Jonathan asks her later, he's like, "I know what you wished for." And she's like, you know, and you glean that she's always wanted kids. And she just wishes that her and Jonathan could have kids. And then they end up crashing their truck right near where Clark's spaceship came down. And he finds them and they take him home. And so she's just dealt with this infertility and she finds the ability to mother in a way that she wasn't expecting. She gets to adopt a kid, an alien.
Yeah. Yeah. Not only a kid, but an alien.
Which won't happen for us here, but I thought that Kendi and I could talk of, because we both dealt with infertility, and I thought that maybe we could discuss our stories a little bit about that. I'll go first so that Kendi can kind of collect her thoughts. For us, it was, but first I wanted to give some statistics. Infertility is actually more prominent than you think. It is almost 1 in 5 women, so 19% of women are unable to get pregnant after 1 year of trying. That's a lot. That's almost 20% of women deal with infertility in one way or another.
Seems astronomical.
Yeah. So for us, we had a really hard time getting pregnant, which is plays into the fact that we have a 7-year gap between our 2 boys. For a while, I just thought, you know, maybe this isn't supposed to happen for us. You know, when we first got married, like maybe it's good because how would my health handle it? And as someone with cystic fibrosis, I was like, maybe this is a blessing in a way, keeping me healthy. And so I tried to because as a person who wants children, dealing with infertility, you have to kind of create your own coping. And that's what I did. I was trying to cope with it in a way where I was justifying that it was a good thing that I wasn't getting pregnant. Which...
Oh, it was breaking your heart.
Because it was breaking my heart. I would cry.
Yeah.
I would have moments where I'd just be super depressed about it because I knew Kyle would be an excellent father and I wanted that for him. And I knew, I'm like, it has to be me. You know, I went with the blaming thing. Like, it's my fault we aren't getting pregnant. Because, yes, it takes 2 people, but, you know, you're like, you blame yourself and you get depressed and you know you want it. And maybe it's good because maybe I'd be a sucky mom and you justify things.
Right.
And
Yeah.
all this stuff is going through your brain and it sucks. And so then I was like, you know what, maybe we'll end up adopting. Who knows? And that will be good. And maybe that's the way we're supposed to go. And but I really wanted it. And so we ended up getting our dog because I wanted something to mother. So I was like, this is going to help me, you know? And it did help, like having a little, thing to care for. It helped me. So thank you, Cassie, for being a good little dog and taking on my motherliness that I wanted to have. But then we did get pregnant, and it was wonderful and hard on my body. And maybe that's also why there was a big gap.
Had to recover.
Yeah. But who knows what plays into it? I still have no idea. And finally, 6.5 years, I was like, you know what? I don't think we're going to get pregnant again. And so I got rid of absolutely everything that we had been moving around, baby stuff and clothes that I'd saved up of Lorenzo's that were still in good condition because I was like, maybe we'll have another boy. And so we had carted this around for 6+ years. 7 years. Got rid of absolutely everything. And after I got rid of the last thing, I got pregnant. So, so there you go, folks. If you want to get pregnant, no.
Yeah.
Get rid of everything.
Buy baby stuff and get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's so crazy because everybody's story is so different how that happens. Like mothers who can't get pregnant adopt and then they have a baby, or first time moms get rid of all their baby stuff and then they get pregnant, or they go on vacation because that's all they've been thinking about and then they get it's so crazy how it happens for so many people.
Yeah. So, what's your story with infertility, Kendi?
Oh man. So me and Matt, I think we were married for 7 years before we actually started trying. We probably should have started way before that, but we were settling into being married. I think I needed more time. I wanted to be a mom. I didn't realize how much and how stressful it is, but anyway, so we start trying, I think, for 2 or 3 years, and nothing's happening. I can't even remember. I didn't go crazy. Like I didn't measure my temperature. I didn't my periods were off anyway, so I couldn't track my periods to see when I was ovulating because that didn't work. And so I went to go see a doctor, and he, right there in that first appointment, diagnosed me with PCOS. And I'm like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, he looks like he's close to retiring. So I'm like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So we finally
What's PCOS?
So it's polycystic ovary syndrome.
Okay.
And it's a condition in which your ovaries produce an abnormal amount of androgens, which is a male sex hormones that are usually present in women in small amounts. The name polycystic ovary syndrome describes the numerous small cysts, fluid-filled sacs that form in the ovaries. And so this is so common because which is unfortunate because every person I talk to that are having a hard time with kids, that's what they're diagnosed with. And one chick was like, I did all this research and I didn't even know you could do this, but there are ways that you can alleviate that effect to then help you get pregnant. I was just like, okay, this is what I have. I can't get pregnant. So what's the next step. So then we looked into um, infertility center where they did some tests, and come to find out I actually did. So that doctor who diagnosed me with just a conversation was right. And then I was like, dang it, he could have been my doctor. We could have started this process so long ago. So anyway, um and so yeah, so it was a lot harder for me, especially since my periods were not consistent at all. And so after doing tests, we actually were able to do a timed pregnancy. So I didn't have to do IVF. And so what involved with this time pregnancy is that I had to take medication for a week, I think. And this, I might be off on some of this because it's been so long, because this is how we got Anders. And so I had to take this medication, I think, for a week to like suppress or overactivate my baby making part of my body. So I can't even remember, but I do remember is that I had to take a shot, and then we were told to do it at a certain time and then to do it again in 12 hours. So that is your timed pregnancy. So weird, but it worked. It was great. It was great. So we were like, perfect. So I thought, okay, we've got our first one. My body knows what to do now. We'll be good. So we tried. I wasn't taking any medicine to stop it from happening, and nothing. And so we went back in, and then both me and Matt were having issues. So we had to do infertility. And it was coming at a time where I was losing my job. So I was losing the insurance that I knew would cover a lot of this stuff, because with my previous employer, they actually covered a lot of things. Otherwise, this probably wouldn't have happened for me, because my new employer, it's it's more expensive. And so even the option to have a third kid is not in the cards for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so that in and of itself is heartbreaking, because I would like to, but anyway. So so with Emmeline, we had to go through in vitro, and it was stressful. There's so much medication that I have to do. You have to take it at a certain time. I was losing my job. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. I was starting my own business, which gratefully did not turn out. But it got me in the direction of where I'm at today, which is great. That and me taking forever to listen to Kyle, because he was actually the one to suggest I go and work at Ide Bailey if I had only listened when he first brought it up. Anyway, I'm an idiot, but and so I was trying to find a new job, and there were timing issues. I just remember this one day where I was crying because I was so frustrated, because the medical field is so complicated and so I don't know what the word is. No, it's just it's too complicated. Like, granted, it's the medical field, but I feel like there's things that they could simplify. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so I had to get my medication. I had to call this other pharmacy to get it, and I cannot remember what it was. I was like, Heavenly Father, if this is going to happen, anyway, the timing worked out. It was great. It all turned out fine, because by the time that old insurance ended, my new insurance ended with the exact same time that the infertility stuff was ending. And so the normal, okay, you're pregnant, now you move on to the next steps of like what it is for everyone else who can have kids naturally, to go and get checkups and stuff like that. So that actually worked out really well. And it was crazy, because during the whole process of in vitro, the amount of eggs that I dropped was the most that I've ever heard of. So I was able to drop 14 viable eggs,
Wow.
which were fertilized and frozen. And so we had 14 embryos. And of those 14, Emmeline, the younger, was the most promising one.
Mm-hmm.
And so, without a doubt, she was supposed to come. I mean, I know everybody says that even if we didn't have to go through this, but 14 embryos and we got Emmeline. So, anyway, she was supposed to come to us, which she's hard, but she's also a huge blessing. And so, yeah. Anyway,
That's wonderful.
yeah. So I don't know. I didn't have any like I think for me the heartbreak is now because I want more children and there's like a lot. I want more children. I feel like it's my responsibility and duty to have more children. I can have more kids. Financially I can't, but my body can still do it. Whether or not I mean, it can't do the beginning and the end, but the middle part, it's really good. I'm really good at cooking them. Like my pregnancies have been pretty decent, but starting and ending have been rough and I don't know. So and like mentally it's hard. Kids are the most taxing things on your psyche.
They are.
I'm like, I want more kids, but at the same time, out of the same breath, it's like, but why? They're so hard. But man, when they're fun, they're so fun.
Yep.
Anyway, and it's that mom guilt. I don't feel like I'm doing enough, so why would I want to bring another kid into this? But I also am better than others, but I'm not better than so it's like this whole vicious cycle. Like those are the things that I think of. And I remember it hit me really yeah. So I'm like in the thick of the heartbreak time, but we were sitting at church. I think it was the beginning of this year. And I saw this family with 3 kids and I lost it. I just started crying. I was like, that could be our family. But yeah, it's expensive. And we're like Emmeline the younger is not cheap. she she is almost like having 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
All of her appointments, I'm writing down the history of like both Anders and Emmeline because like people keep asking me when did this happen and when did this happen. I'm like I don't freaking know, and it's a pain because I've got it all in my phone, and so I have to pick out every single day. I'm like, this is dumb. I'm just going to write it all down so then I have it and I could just look and say, this is when this happened. This is when this happened. Because
Mm-hmm.
when they ask for history, that's, it's just easier. Anyway, so I'm going through that. Oh my gosh, there are so many appointments that this kid has had. And I remember one mom is like, they're normal. They're just like other kids. And I'm thinking, no, they're not. In 1 week, she has like 3 doctor appointments. Anders does not have that. I have 3 lines for him, and it's like dental and checkups. And Emmeline, the younger, has like 20, and I'm still not done. So, well, neither with Anders either, because I probably will just go back to 2021 where she had her heart surgery because her birth is pretty. That one won't be hard to forget. So, anyway, so yeah, I feel like I'm in the heartbreak time because, anyway, yeah. So infertility is rough, and it's sadly happening to more and more women, and it's so sad because you hear all these reports of, and I see it like we're having less kids, and then the next generation, what if they have even less? And it just gets less and less, and it's not just the I don't want kids, it's also I can't have kids.
Yeah.
Like that is becoming more prevalent, I think, than the I don't want kids. And it's heartbreaking.
It is. Because there's
So
good people out there that would be wonderful parents. And
Yeah. And then the crappy parents, they can have kids like nobody's business. It's like, what is going on? This is just not right. Not right at all.
Oh.
It's weird. It's
Well,
Satan's twisted way of reminding us that he's present.
yep. Well, I want to first and foremost say, don't have guilt about that, Kitty. I know me saying that doesn't alleviate the guilt at all, but
I think it's just a mom thing.
It is.
You're a mom, automatic guilt all the time, 24/7, no matter what it is
something.
you're doing. Yeah. That's like, you had guilt before? Oh no, this is like tenfold. It's like, oh great, okay.
So you are a terrific mother and do a great job. And sometimes you get what you get. Don't throw a fit, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You get what you get and don't get mad about it.
Sorry, I'm your mom. Say. You get what you get. You can't go back to Heavenly Father and say, I want a different mom. So
Yep.
Too bad. So sad.
Yep. Okay. Well, there you go, folks.
Maybe we should have ended on the let's talk about gross bugs. Ended on a lighter note.
No. This is the
Life's
way
hard,
it is.
people.
It is.
It is.
Life's hard, but there's also good in it. And we love our kids and we're grateful for them.
Yes, we are.
Okay, so we would love to hear from you. If you have comments about today's episode or a story you want to share with us, we would love to hear about it. You can reach out to us on our Facebook page or email. There are links to both of those on our website, and they're all listed in the show notes.
Help us grow by telling others about us. Maybe this episode has gotten you reinvigorated to listening to us, because we don't just talk about things we've watched. We talk about life and how it affects us, and you get to know more about us. So maybe that's helpful or some way for you to keep wanting to come back. We'd like to thank Red Productions for the music and Jonica for our logo. We still love it. It's awesome. And to our listeners, we are, as you've heard us at the beginning with those numbers, are so grateful that you're here. We love that we have listeners, and we appreciate you.
We sure do.
Toodle pip. You did not say that last time. I meant to tell you. I was like, Emmeline, you got to do it.
Okay. Toodle pip.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lorenzo went to a dance.
First dance.
Yeah. And and then we were talking in Sunday school about, repentance. And he made this comparison that repentance is like asking a girl to dance. And I laughed and I was like, what are you talking about? So he's saying this in front of the whole class. And he's like, well, at first, you don't want to do it. And you're kind of nervous because you have to confess that you made this mistake. Or you're kind of nervous because you got to go talk to a girl, right?
Yeah.
But then you do it and you're glad you did because you feel good about it. And I was like, you know what? Asking a girl to dance is like repentance.
That is awesome. That is cute.